How do you decide what you want to do when you go up in the air, you know, what kind of dunk you're going to do?
Vince Carter is widely recognized as the greatest dunker ever.
Half man, half amazing.
Take me back to the beginning. Who introduced you to the game of basketball?
My uncle Oliver Lee played at Marquette. He put a basketball in my hand at 2 years old.
From his earliest days, Vince Carter was a must-see attraction.
Vince Carter, Mr. Basketball, state of Florida.
You dunked the basketball in
6th grade. One leg, one hand, dunk. 6th grade.
Blocked by Carter, that's 6 of them. Boy, just listen to this crowd buzz. He just brings everything to life.
This is Vince Carter, 6'6", and a flyer.
Flying through the air like a man unleashed from gravity.
You had a music scholarship.
I did.
You turned that down.
I had to. I was flattered.
He had the athleticism and the range.
You might as well just give him a frequent flyer card because he owns the airwaves right now.
A great performance by a great player who is 332 away from fulfilling his team's dream.
Named Mr. Basketball in Florida, and for good reason. Led his team to the state championship this year.
In high school, he was a Parade Magazine, USA Today, and McDonald's All-American.
Mr. Basketball in the state of Florida led his club to the 6A state championship. Boy, is he a leaper. Then I got to tell you, the crowd is standing. They have people down on the behind the bench here that are standing to watch this guy.
And he gets a perfect row of 10s from the judges.
This is his curtain call. Look at the spread. Look at the height.
He is something to behold.
Carolina came in the picture late as far as recruiting.
Carter led Mainland High School to the state title as a senior. His mom's a styling. In the morning, he got a key to the city. At night, he rocked the city.
In fact, Willis, I think, has dubbed him the Human Highlight Film Part 2.
His outstanding college play propelled him into the national consciousness.
He was right. He was right. As soon as I stepped on campus, as soon as I met Coach Smith.
As was the trend at that time. Every new phenom was instantly typecast as the next Jordan clone.
They all left questions, but the latest look-alike most closely profiles the infant Mike, Tar Heel pedigree.
Attending the same college as Jordan did little to quiet those comparisons, nor did his aerial acrobatics.
MJ is often imitated, never duplicated.
With the 5th pick in the 1998 NBA Draft, the Golden State Warriors select Vince Carter from the University of North Carolina.
1998, first round, 5th pick, selected by the Golden State Warriors.
Now, he shot threes at a 40% clip, and yet no one talks about that during his career at North Carolina.
We had no idea what was going to happen. Of course, the draft night and all that to be said, we were traded for each other like 5 minutes in between. So.
You traded for your teammate,
the business of basketball,
Antoine Jameson.
Yes. Toronto has traded the rights to Antoine Jameson to Golden State for the rights to Vince Carter plus cash consideration.
We were kind of introduced to the business of basketball immediately.
The Raptors were an expansion team, only 4 years old.
Talk about you going to Canada.
Without Vince Carter, there may not be a team in Toronto. Sure. That is legitimate.
They'd struggled with signing and keeping stars.
Vince Carter put this team on the map in the U.S., across the NBA.
I get there, and to my surprise, it's one of the best kept secrets.
Tonight's starting lineups presented by Gatorade. There you see Carter.
Fan interest was low, but Vince turned that around immediately.
Flashing the other way is Carter. A 360 whirl-around dunk.
He could bring any arena to its feet in one breathtaking moment, elevating the franchise from obscurity to selling out.
Raptors standout rookie Vince Carter got the better of Celtics standout rookie Paul Pierce, outscoring him by 19.
Soaring through the air, carrying the mantle of Dr. J.
Boom, perfect timing.
For me, I had a dunk list that I never showed anybody, but it's like all the great shot blockers.
Elevates and throws it down. My goodness.
You want to mark them off. Just a great accomplishment in your career.
Not too many times in life to see a guy 6'6", 6'7", who jumps like that. I mean, incredible.
Vince Carter may not be bigger than the CN Tower, but the rookie phenom is pretty darn close.
Starting to win and starting to get good players there. T-Mac's there, my cousin's there. It's just like, you can't beat that.
The youngster and Tracy McGrady, straight out of high school a couple of years ago.
We just found out that we were cousins the summer before his first year.
Ooh, these two could be a problem for years to come. But you only get a chance to play 2 years.
Tracy McGrady, another rebound.
Have you thought about you and T-Mac if y'all have played longer?
We've talked about it.
Carter, McGrady!
Had they stayed together is one of the great what-if questions in basketball history.
Do you remember a point last year where you realized, well, not only do I belong here, but I can flourish here?
Probably against Indiana when they got the dunk, what they call the dunk.
The flashy rookie had become must-see TV.
He earned the Rookie of the Year award.
I'm gonna try to live up to all the other Rookie of the Years and try to have a great career.
He's the best player I've seen since Michael. You know, and Allen's nice, and Kobe's nice, and Shaq's the most dominant. But this is the most exciting show in town. This is a circus.
And now comes a player, Vince Carter, and everyone's comparing him to Michael Jordan, and that's a tough cross to carry.
Yeah, it is indeed, Fred.
The thing I'm really impressed with is that he's carried over his level of play to his second year. A lot of people talk about the sophomore jinx. There is none in the life of Vince Carter.
Air Canada was ready for liftoff.
It was nearly 1 month ago when Air Canada touched down in Los Angeles.
Are you kidding me? I think that'll make the highlight reels tonight, John.
Scoring 34 points in the Raptors' first ever win over the Lakers in Los Angeles.
Rattles it down.
Misses the second. Carter calls a timeout. McGrady will make the pass. McGrady looking. Carter's going to get a shot off.
Beats the buzzer. Vince Carter!
In the year 2000, Carter announced his arrival to the world in what would become arguably the greatest dunk contest performance ever.
This guy was doing stuff back in the day these kids still can't do to this day.
I really thought the top was going to come off of the building. I've never seen that before.
Here is the man that this crowd wants to see.
This is what everybody's been waiting for. It's the climax of the night, and we're going to see what Vince Carter can really do.
And here is Vince Carter with his first.
I was in another world. I felt like Mario just powered up to Super Mario.
Building just exploded.
You dunk it and put your arm.
Greatest dunker ever was
Vince Carter.
Vince Carter.
I might have to go with Vince Carter also.
Over Michael.
That was a dream of mine, a lifelong dream. Being in the dunk contest was a lifelong dream. I wasn't afraid to fail.
It's over! It's over, ladies and gentlemen! Oh my goodness gracious, it is over!
You remember the reactions of Shaq, KG, Webb? I mean, you talk about guys who've seen dunk contests, seen you dunk. It was just different.
Surprising absolutely no one, Vince Carter won.
You and Vince? You think you would have got it in?
No. Why? No, I will enter into things that I know I can win.
See, that's why I want to get.
Vince Carter, he's been virtually unstoppable in the past 2 weeks since the All-Star break.
Doug, there's been so much hype surrounding Vince Carter over the last month, and amazingly, he's lived up to it.
Oakley to bring it in with 30 seconds on the clock. Straight to Carter. Slamming it down with authority.
The dunks you see him doing the dunk contest, he'll do in the game.
It's a rush. It's just that feeling. You want to stick your chest out and feel good, and then the fans, home or away, the oohs and ahs and the cheers. I mean, that's what it's all about. That's what the game is about.
So loud.
You will bow down before me!
The fans got what they wanted.
How about so the Clippers lead by 2. Toronto will bring it to midcourt with a second and a half to go. It's not over yet.
Vince Carter will be the man coming out of this timeout.
Correct. They can win it with a 3. They can tie it with a 2. A second and a half to go. Seatbelts are mandatory.
In a 2001 playoff matchup against Philadelphia, Vince Carter exploded.
But also he can shoot. That's the one thing about his game people slept on. He can shoot that 3 ball.
What a start for him. He has 10 points, including 2 threes.
He rained threes at a record clip.
5 for 5.
Finishing with an all-time NBA playoff record, 8 three-pointers in a single half.
Amazing. Vince Carter on a turnaround has hit his 8th three-pointer in a row.
You can laugh. Vince Carter with an NBA playoff record for most three-point baskets in a half.
Air Canada made its way to Australia to compete in the Olympics.
Yes. Crowd wants another Carter alley-oop.
Frederick Bice, the Olympics 2000. He'll forever be known. You ruined his life.
So in the Olympics, for those who don't know, I jumped over a 7'2" guy in the game.
With one of the most iconic dunks in the history of the game.
Crowd still oohing and eyeing as Vince Carter got them fired up.
He was now an Olympic gold medalist.
Carter has now scored 20 or more points in 17 straight games. That's the longest streak in the NBA this season.
And that's what the people in Edmonton wanted to see. What do we call
it? A new human highlight reel. Carter was a star among stars.
That sweet spot, and when you're rolling, you're rolling.
With Vince continuing to mature, the Raptors were becoming a formidable force in the East.
15 years ago, an NBA player's worst nightmare was not merely getting dunked on by Michael Jordan, it was being immortalized in a poster getting dunked on by Michael Jordan. Now the poster has been passed. Air Jordan has turned into Vinsanity. and the view from down here is equally intimidating.
You have to say that he's the next thing close to MJ.
Garnering shoe deals and endorsements.
Michael, meant a lot for the NBA. And I think right now Vince is that same type of commodity.
He's very athletic, as Michael was.
Vince has exploded on the scene.
Oh, he threw the body and flipped it in.
And his game is just so explosive.
11 on the shot clock. Vince driving over Stackhouse. With a right-handed dunk! Are you kidding me? Air Canada soaring here in Motown.
Half man, half amazing.
Alvin Williams swings it right side. Carter at the foul line. All the way top. With a right-handed monster jam. He just posterized Tim Duncan.
Fair, man. I got so little hop and you got so much.
It down.
Did you see what I just saw?
I had the ball, running the fast break. Vince Carter was on one end, and Jesus was on the other one. I had to throw it to Vince Carter.
To the 20. 14 seconds remaining in regulation. Crossover. Onions! Onions! More onions! For Vincent Carter! The final score, Raptors 101, Blazers 97.
But behind the scenes, Carter was feuding with Raptors management. Injuries had continued to mount, and Carter was playing less and less frequently.
They felt like he was on the training table just as much, if not more, than the basketball court. And Sam Mitchell made a comment to Vince about always being injured and always being on the training table,
resulting in a confrontation where Carter body-slammed his coach after he suggested Vince's injuries were overblown.
Boom! Ain't nothing you could do about it. But obviously their relationship was never the same at that point.
I am a Jedi.
Skywalker! Vince Carter!
Unbeknownst to everyone watching that day, this would be the final time Vince Carter played for Toronto.
Yeah, we've got a player down on the floor. Is that Carter?
It's Vince Carter.
The rumblings of Vince Carter wants out. The Raptors want to trade Vince Carter.
Rather unceremoniously, Carter was traded to the New Jersey Nets.
Last year, before you get traded to the Nets, things kind of get ugly in Toronto.
The trade happens and it's like, oh, Vince didn't want to be here and so on and so forth, just the hatred.
Carter was about a month into getting used to his new club, the New Jersey Nets. His trade from Toronto bringing an unhappy VC back to the States while igniting a great deal of speculation as to how much effort he always gave north of the border.
Could they have made a worse trade? I mean, are you kidding me?
No, you look at it. You get traded to New Jersey. The old Vince Carter started to come back.
Invigorated and motivated, Carter's high-flying act re-emerged.
A lot of people are saying because of the injuries your career was on the downside, but you go to the Nets and you seem to get rejuvenated.
Lead by 5, Vince Carter driving past Haslam. Oh yes, a jackknife dunk for Vince Carter, that he can do. Carter spins, finishes plus the foul.
Or was it a combination of all? What can you put your finger on it? Because it went back to Vince having fun. Vince playing above the rim.
Carter with a hammer dunk off a great one bounce from Kidd.
Vince, you were player of the month in December, 51 points against Miami.
Over the top of O'Neal.
How high you got to get that over Shaq?
Well, it's a new season high for Vince. He has 39 points.
Again, Alonzo Mourning changing a shot.
How about that slam dunk from Vince Carter? What body control and what power by Carter.
I just wanted to prove to everyone, like, I still got it.
Well, Carter has 51 points in the game. So one of the great games ever turned in by a New Jersey Net.
I got the opportunity to play with him, and even when I got to play with him, he was far greater, far more athletic than anything I could imagine.
Oh, no. It goes.
Carter returned to Toronto to a sea of boos.
From North Carolina, 6'6" guard, number 15, Vince Carter.
Being booed back in Toronto.
I don't think any player has ever been booed like that night.
People hate Vince so deeply because they loved him.
But it would be Vince who had the last laugh.
5 seconds to go in regulation. Over the timeline, Jason Kidd. He buries it! Vince Carter! Back in Toronto with a bang!
Carter had arguably his best seasons with the Nets, playing alongside Jason Kidd.
Oh my! Hayes deflected. Carter goes back to get it. 3 seconds left. Carter with 2 seconds.
Got it! Vince Carter has done it! Nets win in overtime. A 3 at the buzzer. And a wild night at the Izod Center.
4-3. Kidd. Oh, Carter! Score the basket. It's a 2. Vince Carter.
Vince Carter on the razzle-dazzle.
As he aged, Carter's game became increasingly well-rounded.
Flew right by Marco. Fans on their feet. Bench having too good of a time.
In the clutch, he found ways to impact the game.
1.7 to play. What kind of look is it going to be?
But no matter how old he got, Carter's ability to slam it at any time never diminished. With 22 years' experience, Vince Carter is the longest tenured player in league history.
For the first time since he left, the guy they used to call Air Canada has been cheered loudly.
Vince, thousands of players have reached the NBA over its entire history. None of them have played in 22 seasons. That changes when you check into the game tonight.
Magnificence one more time.
In 2018, Carter became just the 22nd player to ever reach 25,000 points.
Welcome to the pantheon of the greatest scorers in NBA history.
Fittingly, it came on a dunk against the Raptors, the team where it all started.
He's done so much for international basketball, especially here in North America. And just look, he is and was a global superstar.
Now here's what he deserves, a statue in Toronto. Agreed. He deserves that.
After 22 years in the league, he is best remembered for his days in Toronto.
They need to retire his jersey.
It's also time to forgive and move on because of everything else that he did for the Raptors and for Canadian basketball.
Vince Carter! I don't believe! I have never seen a three-point play this way.
A 5-time All-Star and a legend.
Nobody brings it home like Joe Vincent. Nobody.
Make it so.